Next tonight, a federal lawmaker who represents thousands of Western New Yorkers on Capitol Hill says he wants to hear your voice if you or someone you know has been impacted by government layoffs. That request coming from Congressman Tim Kennedy during a visit to Buffalo today, where he called out the Trump administration for a wave of layoffs across multiple agencies. Among the impacted agencies, the IRS let roughly 7,000 employees go, including some right here in Buffalo. 5,200 people were laid off from health agencies. More than 240 employees were fired from the TSA during their probationary period. And at the VA, more than 1,000 workers have been laid off. Today, with many of those agencies represented behind him, Congressman Kennedy issued a stern message to the White House asking for these layoffs to end. I was at today's discussion to amplify a range of voices deeply concerned about these layoffs.
What we're doing here today is we're sounding the alarm.
Congressman Tim Kennedy meeting with labor union leaders Friday to discuss the recent moves by the Trump administration to slash the federal workforce and the impact being felt here locally.
We can't stand to watch this unelected billionaire Elon Musk gut our workforce and the services that they provide in order to give tax breaks to himself and his fellow billionaires across this country.
Among the union leaders on hand were representatives from the VA, TSA, Department of Homeland Security, and the National Association of Letter Carriers. Peter DeJesus, the local president of the AFL-CIO, argues recent job eliminations weakened the protections and rights that working people rely on.
A tax on these workers, whether through funding cuts, political interference, or outright firings, aren't just attacks on individuals. They're attempts to dismantle the safeguards that keep corporations and the wealthy in this country in check.
A lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are uncertain. A lot of folks don't know what's going to happen to their jobs, to their livelihoods, to their retirements.
The cuts are needed, Jeff, because the federal government has just gotten so big and so bureaucratic that it's almost incapable of solving problems anymore.
Republican political analyst Carl Calabrese tells me he supports the cuts being done to downsize the federal workforce. Calabrese argues something has to change to address what he calls the unsustainable debt the U.S. is facing.
Sure, there's going to be some pain. It's kind of like a diet. You know, you go on a diet and there's always some discomfort and pain in the process of losing weight. But when you're done, you're healthier for it. I think the government is exactly that position. And yeah, it's going to be some pain, but it's necessary pain now to avoid a whole lot more pain down the road.
Still, Congressman Kennedy says he stands united with union leaders to protect the federal workforce in Western New York and beyond.
They're going backwards. They're taking this country backwards. And it's the people that are paying the price, not just the federal workers.
Kennedy says he'll continue to support legal challenges against what he calls unjust terminations. He's also asking for federal workers impacted here locally to share their story with his office using kennedy.house.gov. I'll share that information with you at WKBW.com.